Well, hello everybody. It's so great to be with you. You're watching The Charles Cost Show, episode number 2. And we've got quite a show lined up for you today. For starters, we're going to have a message from the President. That's right, from the President. Following that, we're going to go straight into our segment number 1, which is I Can't Believe It. And this segment is going to be all about William Reich. It's going to be about Tesla. It's going to be about the pyramids and the origin of the orb, and we're going to ask whether the pyramids are electrical machines designed to alter consciousness. That's right, electrical machines designed to alter consciousness, and that was requested by a patron called Kurt. So I really hope you enjoy that. Let's get into segment number 1.
Is the Great Pyramid an orgone Tesla accumulator designed to increase fertility in Egypt? There is a marvelous picture of a helical, possibly infrared energy beam emanating out of a pyramid structure from an electrical experiment in a laboratory in the 70s. I've got one on my wall. The picture may be real or a hoax. In addition, there may be one from 2010, which emerged in 2010. And this shows one coming out of the Bosnian pyramid. Now, at the time, I was toying with the idea that the Great Pyramid is actually an orb generator. That's right, the Great Pyramid is an orb generator or UFO generator. Now, hear me out. Because there is sweeping, unbelievable, conclusive evidence here, and I've been piecing this puzzle together over the last 7 years, but believe it or not, the Egyptians may have been pre-Egyptians may have been building a device designed to help the heavens open up and guarantee the future fertility of Egypt. Now, how do I know this? I know this because Egyptologists actually teach that the pharaoh is designed to... They made the pharaoh, mummified him so he could live forever to protect Egypt forever. But was there a scientific basis for this? So, for starters, what is an orb anyway? Now, an orb is simply, as it seems, a low-energy ball lightning. Ball lightnings are generated by mixing organic constituents, such as smoke or gases, with some kind of electrostatic discharge, and voila, a ball lightning is created, and not very few people know or are aware of this process. Now, William Reich was a rather strange man. One day, he was toying with putting a tube to his eye. He found himself bursting clouds with, it seemed, his own consciousness. He had discovered the concept of as above, so below. As Hermes Trismegistus, the pre-Egyptian mythagogue and king of Egypt, enunciated all that time ago. You see, the entire layout of the Giza plateau employs the Tesla numbers of 369. There are 9 pyramids on the plateau, or 3 times 3 pyramids. The whole complex was designed by the best mathematicians, physicists, and engineers in the known world. In the oldest Egyptian mythology, there is the concept of the Aeneid, which are 9 gods, starting with the sun and also including gods such as Osiris. And every city had its own primordial religion, and the Aeneid was the religion of Heliopolis. I believe that each of the pyramids represents one of the gods of the Aeneid, a representation of the pantheon. I elucidate a lot of this in my book on pyramids regarding mythology, and that these are tombs for gods. 9 pyramids, 9 gods. The pyramids for men are nearby, and they are the mastabas. Archaeologists, sadly, haven't got a clue. That's right, they haven't got a clue. So, getting back to it, can the pyramids actually drive a form of electrical intelligence by creating orbs? It's known that ball lightnings, for instance, exhibit a type of, or a UFO, exhibit a type of intelligent-like behavior, a form of consciousness. So, and other people are starting to say that, is the sun conscious? Is Saturn conscious? Are the planets conscious? I believe they are. In fact, the function of the Great Pyramid is betrayed by the very name of the Great Pyramid. You see, for years I've been toying with this idea, wondering if it's real or not, but now new evidence suggests that it just might be. And I'm talking about the name Akut Khufu. The word Aku is critical, because I've been noticing this is a worldwide word. It appears that an Aku is what we today would call a ghost or orb or UFO. No one knows this, new information. This is precisely what it is. If we look up the flying wing disc, this is an akuit. And author after author have suggested that this represents a type of UFO-like object. One prominent author, I recall, Jacques Vallée, showed in his book that these appear to be depictions of orbs or UFOs. You know, in a consultation of the Wallace Budge Egyptian Dictionary utterly reveals this to be the case in the extreme. And all this is original research. You won't hear anywhere else. In fact, the word aku, it really is everywhere. For example, the Sami of Europe use it to refer to ghosts. The Easter Islanders called the aku their ghosts. I mean, I was shocked reading a book by Thor Heyerdahl, his best book. It's called Aku Aku. I encourage everyone to check it out because it is incredible, that book. It is unbelievable. And I was shocked that the Egyptians have the same word for ghost that the Easter Islanders do. So that's a brilliant book. And they used, the Easter Islanders used, Thor Heyerdahl employed the superstition of the Easter Islanders against them and actually basically seized control of their island for a couple of years to do his archaeological research and raid all their tombs, which is unbelievable. And they were quite happy, yeah. And it's unbelievable. Even a witch doctor put Thor Heyerdahl to some sort of magical test, and Heyerdahl was saved by his mere luck and determination. Otherwise, he might have been executed. And he took all those artifacts back to Norway to museums simply because they believed that his aku was more powerful than their aku, because they say everyone has an aku, a soul, a ghost behind them. You see, so if the pyramid is an aku, it would be an aku generator or machine. In this case, it would concentrate earth resonance in its structure, with ball lightnings or akus or orbs of various types popping out of the top. I believe that if we kept an infrared camera trained on the Giza pyramid, we would pick these up. These are akin to the streamers rising up out of the ground, ready to meet a lightning bolt descending towards the ground, a complementary voltage. There is no way around the conundrum that the Great Pyramid has not really been named after the vague word horizon, as archaeologists wrongly point out, or eternity, as they also point out. Does aku mean horizon or eternity? Surely not. So this is what no one has been able to explain. Rather, it is named after the orb, and this makes it very similar to the Wardenclyffe Tower of Tesla. It appears that one intention has been to generate Khufu's orb on a nightly basis so it would roam around Egypt, like they say a mummy would, protecting it so he could live forever. And this is how they got a god to live forever. I mean, every single book, almost every single word in any Egyptian dictionary has probably been mistranslated. And you have to understand, these words have been used over thousands of years. I mean, what was the English language like 2,000 years ago? See what I mean? So, orbs are always seeking the ground, possibly the reason that Min lights or Earth lights or Will-o'-the-Wisps or Foo Fighters or whatever you want to call them always chase after metallic objects across deserts where such objects are rare. So people crossing deserts encounter balls which chase them for hundreds and hundreds of miles. In fact, once during a thunderstorm, actually between blinks of the eye, I saw an orb zap into a power outlet and I was just wondering if I'd actually imagined the whole thing. I decided that it was real, otherwise I would not have registered that it was real. How often do we dismiss real events as imagination simply because the memory fades when the object of our interest is no longer before us? Out of sight is truly out of mind. Tesla's version of the pyramid was the Wardenclyffe Tower, out of which Orbs also shot, and he used a lot of Westinghouse's money to do this. This will be continued in part 2, which will be in the next episode.
But for starters, we've actually got the president here, so we're going to talk to him and see what he has to say. So let's put him on right now. So I encourage all of you to get on the YouTube and watch the Charles Cast program. I have it out on my iPad all the time because it's his best show. His show is just amazing, folks. One week, he's got the pyramids on there. Another week, it's Peru and the Andes. I can go places I thought I'd never even visit, even with my beautiful, beautiful big plane. That's right, folks. Hey, that's right. That's right, folks. They don't film the crowds. We got all these beautiful people come all the way out here, standing in line for 10 miles. They don't film it. Come on, pan the crowd. Oh, you see, you're not going to pan the crowd. It's bad. And sad too. It's sad, isn't it, folks? Yeah. It's sad. Come on. Yeah, go home to mama. Get that guy out of here. Get him out of here. Yeah. You know, people like him are like, oh, I don't watch the Charles Cars program because I don't like the Charles Cars program. Hey, we like the Charles Cars program. We watch that a lot. Let me tell you, a lot. And me and Melania in the White House, we tune in every episode. That's right, folks, every single episode. Because we just love it. Just like we love America. We love it. We love to watch it. And those hecklers, who needs them? Pathetic. Pathetic. And China does, they don't have the Charles Cars program because they don't have YouTube. They're not helping us. That's right, folks. They're not helping us. They're not helping us. Okay, so thanks for coming out here, guys, and watching me talk to you for 5 hours. I encourage you to get onto the Charles Class program and get onto it as soon as you can and start watching. Tell your friends, share it around the internet. You know, we invented the internet in the USA and we're going to get this going again. So we need to get the internet going again. So watch the Charles Class program. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye. Well, that was very interesting. I hope you enjoyed that. And it's time for segment number 3, which is entitled, What Do You Know? So, what do we know? Well, there's been some interesting announcements in the newsletter. For example, it was announced on the 11th of April that the Canaanite god Yahweh possibly originated in Vulcan. This would mean he is the fire god, and he was not just in the Canaanite area, but everywhere, all around the Mediterranean. Now, I actually talk about this in my Pyramids book because I point to similarities between Yahweh and also the god Loki. Loki, the fire god of the Germanics, who is a trickster. And it really is interesting. If you look at the pyramid, I think each pyramid was built for a god, essentially. Or, if they were built earlier, they came to represent gods. And this is partly what I spoke about in the first segment. 9 pyramids, 9 gods, the Aeneid of Heliopolis. That it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? I mean, the archaeologists aren't going to get this. And these people who have announced this, I think they're correct. I mean, but there is a fiendish aspect, because if you look at Loki, the fire god, there's a fiendish aspect to this. I mean, you look at the book of Job. That book is awful. It's a trickster type deity. It is a fiendish book. And some people might say, well, life is kind of like that. And it is. Life is a cross of heaven and hell, I guess. But that book is fiendish. It's weird. It's a weird book. So I do agree with that assessment. That's quite interesting. And you look at the Khufu pyramid as well. It's got 4 symbols above the door. And the 4 symbols, it's 4 letters. So why not Ikhwe? Why not Yahweh? Why not this god? Why not this deity? And he would have been the god of the Hyksos kings in Egypt. And they would have thought perhaps he lives in the Great Pyramid. And you look at Khnum Khufu. Khnum is a goat's god who is green, a bit crocodile as well, with horns. And that speaks for itself, doesn't it? So you can see where this is going. Also, another team, and this really got me going, said that, and this was weird, a pregnant woman, an Egyptian woman, was in her early 20s, was found in King Solomon's mines. And I thought, I did a double take. I thought to myself, they know where King Solomon's mines are? Are you kidding me? I think they're in America, in the Lake Superior region of Michigan. And some people like Frank Joseph, he actually wrote that the Michigan area supplied all of the Copper Age in Europe. And when that source dried up, only then, and the transatlantic trade ended, only then did Europe switch to the Iron Age. So I thought that was interesting, but they are referring to the Timna region. It's an oasis desert region. And they say this was an Egyptian woman, died 3,200 years ago, putting her in about the time of the Trojan War, which is quite fascinating because at the time the Mycenaeans were raiding the Eastern Mediterranean and destroying everything. Now the Mycenaeans were cow worshippers, and this woman was found buried under a pile of rocks next to the Hathor temple, who is of course the cow goddess. So I'm wondering, was she actually a Mycenaean woman? I mean, it's just amazing. And they've even found some graves of some miners here. So if they think they were Solomon's miners in the desert in this region, they say that these guys were eating goats, sheep, grapes, pistachios, and fish. So they had a decent, well-rounded diet. And that's 3,000 years ago. And that, guys, is a wrap. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Now, guys, check this out. I just want to show you my t-shirts. And of course, there is going to be the announcement next week of the 2 winners of the t-shirt competition. And that is I am so excited about that. Even I don't know who the winners are going to be. I'm not even going to look at them until the day before. And then I'm going to choose 2, which I think are the best. But until then, I've been working on my own design. So if you're interested and you want to help me out, which would be appreciated, just go to charlescost.com. I've made this big, beautiful website. And go to the shop, and I've scrolled down here and look at, I've embedded the a US dollar store of a Spreadshirt, and I've made some products. Alternately, go to the official Merc, and then it's embedded right here, the US dollar. There's also an Aussie dollar link down there. And all you do is this. So I've got some couple funny designs. I think they're funny. I don't know if anyone else will think they're funny, but I do. And this is essentially Paul always said I'd be discovered one day. That's one of them, and the other one is I hope you like this. It is the truth is out there. Yeah, the tooth is out there, or the tooth is out there. And I also have a different version of that with the essentially, see, that's like an apron. Essentially the skull. So the letters are on the skull, and the tooth is out there. So there you go. This crystal skull is a symbol of the truth. And there's other stuff as well. So those 2 designs, and there are going to be a lot more coming up, and I have a couple more older designs on the Aussie dollar Spreadshirt. But thing is, right, there's more stuff here. There's bags and backpacks, there's mugs and drinkware. So if you want to help me out, there's a huge assortment of accessories and stuff that you can play around with. So let's see how it goes. I will be adding more designs, and I hope it's going to be a success. And thanks very much, guys. See ya. Bye bye.